Hello, this is your Tabletop Gaming News Update. I'm Matthew and welcome to Cult of the News. Oh, and also there's like 8 really big games being announced, so buckle up. As we all know, everything was going okay until the Fire Nation attacked. But if you want to help save the world of Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra, well, now you can with Avatar Legends, the official Avatar role-playing game. The campaign, currently running on Kickstarter until September the 2nd, has been somewhat of a success with almost $4 million being raised. And my guess by now, that's a much larger number than when I wrote this. And in the tabletop role-playing game, you and your plucky band of friends take on the role of adventurers from across the 4 nations who aim to make the world a better place. It's a game of moral choice, balance and meaningful relationships as you fight against villains who may be doing the wrong thing but for the right reasons, like Thanos, or Zordon from the Power Rangers, who essentially is forcing teenagers to fight his intergalactic war when all they wanted to do was learn karate. Anyway, Avatar Legends had this moral ambiguity which will often result in giving you difficult decisions to make, and your characters won't be perfect themselves. Avatar Legends will allow play within all the eras of the world, from times hinted at in the show long before Aang, up until the world as we know it from Legends of Korra. And you'll be using your stats of creativity, focus, harmony and passion to achieve your goals, all while trying to attain inner personal balance, reflecting Aang's journey in the show. It looks wonderful. I'm a massive fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's one of the very few TV shows that is near perfect in my mind. There are of course lots of add-ons and upgrades in the campaign, but the core rulebook and stretch goals will cost $75 plus shipping. And now I'll masterfully bend this news around to Chaz and this video's sponsor.
This episode is made possible in part by Kim Joy's Magic Bakery, a cooperative baking card game coming from Skybound Tabletop. Now, always on the look for a culinary adventure, your favorite British baker, Kim Joy, has moved to a magical forest and opened up a small bakery there. Now, she needs your help to keep customers happy. From sly foxes to needy cats, gossipy ducks to clumsy dinosaurs, you're about to have your hands full keeping this bakery running smoothly. Kim Joy's Bakery is a light cooperative card game for 2 to 5 players that tells an adorable story over the course of 10 unique scenarios. Additionally, no baking experience is required to play, which is really good news to me because I burn water. The game will be arriving on Amazon in September and friendly local game stores in October, but you can follow the link in this video's description to pre-order it directly from Skybound right now, which is just frosting on the cake.
Boon Lake is the new game by Great Western Trail designer Alexander Pfister that got a lot of people excited. There aren't too many details available on the Capstone Games website, where Boon Lake has been made available on pre-order, but you play as part of a group of pioneers who've left civilization behind to settle along the shores of Boon Lake. Sounds tempting, honestly. In fact, I don't need the group. I'll go alone, just me and the water. Alone with my thoughts. My dark and lonely thoughts. The unexplored area beckons you to become part of a new community and commit yourself to the common good as you explore the landscape, build houses and settlements, raise cattle, there's your classic Alexander Pfister, produce raw materials and develop your infrastructure, and it urges you to do your best to automate these processes, allowing you time to seize the opportunity to make the best of your new life in Boon Lake. And the description promises to introduce a novel action mechanism so that each game progresses differently, but for many, just a new game from Alexander Pfister may have been enough for you to hit the pre-order button. I know nothing of G.I. Joe. Seriously, it's a cultural blind spot in my world, which I'm having to live with, I'm fine about. But Renegade Games have announced a G.I. Joe deck building game where you and your fellow players will lead teams of G.I. Joe soldiers on missions to stop Cobra's dastardly plans. Each player starts the game with a meager deck that will grow more and more powerful as you recruit veterans from the G.I. Joe team, requisition gear and field new vehicles in a fully cooperative experience that pits you against increasingly dangerous missions to save the world. And Renegade Games have been putting a lot of energy into their IP-filled deck builders recently, with the Power Rangers and Transformers deck building games coming before it. And if G.I. Joe is your jam, now you can get excited for this one coming in autumn. Next we have Oltree, a new cooperative narrative game with worker placement, immersive storylines, and it's slated as a role-playing game turned into a board game. And what's got my attention is that it's coming from designer Antoine Bowser, who designed one of the quintessential co-op games, Ghost Stories. And while that game will murder your characters relentlessly, this game is artwork from Vincent Dutrait. So, in Oltree, players are knights in a fallen kingdom who are still doing what they can to protect the people and the land they had sworn allegiance to. And the game will include a number of scenarios linked by theme, but they're playable independently and don't form an overarching campaign, which I like. It's all based on that French role-playing game Oltree by John Grunfin. You'll need to cooperate with your fellow players to meet the challenges and adventures set by the Chronicle, each offering a rich and unique setting with its atmosphere, plot, friends and foes, and you'll be able to take this adventure when it's available later this year. There's gonna be an official Rome Total War board game, and it's coming from PSC Games later this year. It's been designed to capture the feel and mechanisms found in the massively successful Rome Total War video game, and it's been created with fans of the video game at its heart. In the video game, you're trying to work your way up the very realistic goal of becoming emperor via total domination of the 50 provinces surrounding you by building up an army, besieging, bribing, and generally keeping enough of your family members alive, as Romans do indeed do what the Romans do. And the board game version will have you doing many of the same things, all while chucking a bunch of dice. It's what's being described as a medium weight war game with an economic engine, which isn't as much fun, I'll admit, as saying Total War. But it's equally exciting to me personally. And look for the Kickstarter at the end of the year if you want to get to that. When the campaign starts for it, to get that. American Monsters has been announced, which is the sequel to Horrified from Ravensburger, or as I now think of it, the game that people wouldn't stop tweeting me about. So many tweets. I was like, you open your phone, you think, oh, someone trying to make a deep emotional note. Horrified. There's a new one. I am excited about it. It's coming out later this year in the thematic month of October, and this time you'll be pitted against Bigfoot, Mothman, the Jersey Devil, along with another host of other cryptids that all definitely exist. It's not clear how the new version deviates from the original Horrified gameplay, but it will still incorporate the cooperative race against the captivating cryptids with increasing levels of difficulty based on how many of those unique foes you wish to face. I really enjoyed Horrified. It was a surprise hit for me, and this theme suits me like a weird suit tailored to fit a possible half-alien hybrid Man in Black type weird situation. So I'm excited for more co-op fun in the Horrified line. Hub Games have announced Far Away Valley, which has been described as a love letter to cozy gaming in an Animal Crossing Stardew Valley type of way. Yes, yes. To this, all of that, those words, that whole paragraph, yes. In the game, your friends have decided that it's time to change the world, albeit in your own small way. And with that in mind, you arrive in the valley with plans to craft new villages from scratch and explore forests, discover intriguing sights and create pop-up buildings and attract new friends, all of whom will help you create the perfect place to live. But you'll also have to make sure that everyone's needs are met if you're to convince them to stay in your idyllic paradise. And something I found fun was the description of the game where it says, Faraway Valley is a worker placement game in which you must do everything you can to make sure your workers actually stay at the end of the game. I'm a big fan of this theme, so I'm very intrigued with this one, and I'm looking forward to more information. And finally, there's a new James Bond game. Well, it's more of a James Bond villain game coming from Modiphius called SPECTRE the board game, to be released next spring. SPECTRE the board game has you taking on the roles of villains from the James Bond world, which is just like our world, but with more explosions, as you try to become Spectre's #1 operative. I don't know what that means, but my guess is they're like a group of people who don't like the Queen or something. And you'll be following different plot lines, making gadgets, bribing, spying and infiltrating as you try to take over the world, all while foiling the pesky dude with the license to kill who keeps on ruining your monologues. And as for monologues, that's mine over. Thank you so much for watching this week's news, and I'll see you next time. Bye.